Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning, Kenny Latex. How's it going? Oh, he is in Discord. We should say hi. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, well, a little bit lighter today. Not what I expected, but it's Tuesday. You know, whatever. 30 seconds here. Let's see what happens. Have a little bit of a move up yesterday in the E-mini that has continued through to today, but there's still some, big resistance above us. Meanwhile, all of that buying in the Treasuries amounted to nothing and has since retraced. Basically, we're back to where we were yesterday. Okay. So there's all of the stacks. Did you hear that? So they are putting a bunch of stuff on the ask there at the open. Where are they putting it at? They're putting it like all way out there. Good effing grief. So all of that stuff doesn't matter, but there is stuff at 17 that I do think. Pull, stack, pull. That's interesting that they can do that. You shouldn't be allowed. In my opinion, am I wrong? I don't think you should be allowed to stick orders out that far. Like 100 ticks away. Stacking and pulling. Shouldn't be allowed to do that, I think. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. Okay, well, we're not getting a wild ride like we did the other day, but there certainly is a lot of activity on the offer today. So that is going to be our first entry here. Oh, I didn't even have it open. Bad me. Put that over there. Sheets. July. All right. July 23rd. Uncertain trend. Probably this also uncertain up. Well, I'm expecting a reversal, but I don't know. It's at 170. Lots of spoofing offers on the open. That is a lot of spoofing, guys. This is really weird. It's not what you would normally expect, because normally when we get up to a spot like this, you'd see like a lot of bids trying to push it up a little bit higher so they could get filled and go short. But instead, we're getting tons of offers coming in, possibly trying to push it down. And then an iceberg at 16.5. I don't know if that means it's a continuation or a reversal. Are they trying to force the market down? Or are they those icebergs at 16.5 trying to get filled? Saudi cabinet says disruption of international maritime traffic would be considered a violation of international law. No duh. By the way, I believe Boris got in yesterday, didn't he? Let's see here. Okay, uptick. Well, they took that a little bit too easily. CNBC guy. Yes, Brexit leader Boris Johnson wins race for UK Prime Minister. Something tells me that Mr. Johnson is not going to take too kindly to ships from his country being harassed by Iran. There's Uzi. How's it going, Dad? How's it going, Mom? My bro. That's what we should call you guys, my bros. 17. I don't know. This whole setup's kind of weird. Kind of weird. You say it's slow? Well, I am kind of thinking maybe we can have a really range-bound day today. By the way, I didn't check. We do have some, like, home sales news, right? We have HPI and existing home sales, but not until much later in the session. Yeah, Monday was a bust. Today's overnight range looks like doo-doo. Well, that move up, I mean, let's not call it a bust, right? We did have a really good move up. We just weren't able to take advantage of it, right? For everything else that yesterday was, it's pretty good. But the overnight range really looks like crap. Now we are above yesterday's opening range high. Let's come in here and reload the levels. Okay, the opening range high for today is at 18. If we break the high, I think that could result in more upside. But you've got, previous high not too far away. I don't know. We're going to see here, though. So there was all of those offers. So far, we've ticked up. So that was a continuation. You went against the offers. Those offers did not stop it at all. And now they're hitting 18.5. Anyways, I was just thinking, like, the stuff that I'm seeing. Okay, so the very first time that I ever put this on and I started looking at this tape, I remember looking at the open and seeing a ton of really weird orders being put on. Okay, I remember that. And then I haven't seen it since. And then today they do it again. But I don't really remember what that day was like, if it was a strong day or not. I'm just saying it seems like there's a lot of unusual activity for the start of the day, you know? Okay, well, if that's going to be a continuation, then we're going to say we could have gotten 1, 2, 3 off of it, potentially. 3 and 1, which has been pretty standard. When I look at my thing and we get these things, look, 3, 3, 3, 2, 3, there was a 5. 2, 2, 2, 5, 4, 5, 2. Some of these days where it was really moving. See these trending days, but then when it's range, 2s. Okay. Ka-ting. Look at that. Stack. I'd say it was good for 3, but it might be good for more because I haven't necessarily gotten an opposing signal, have I? I'm also wondering when we get into this, you notice that I'm noticing this happen a lot. Like that. And I've been wondering, okay, when it comes down, well, like it is right here at 18.5, is that tell us something? And like right here, you could have gotten a continuation off of it, right? This might be the no signal. That makes sense. Well, you could have, you're the one with the indicator. Wait, could have what? Shorted it there? Taken it long? Oh, I could have taken it long there. Yeah. Maybe. See that there at 18.5 was the no signal. That's one that I'm trying to keep a track of. So it was 17. We got 1, 2, 3. Definitely got the 3. Okay. So far, it's up. I don't know, still up. Reversal 18.5. See, it's interesting. They're giving them another look at it. There was a couple of bids that pulled it in through here, though. And that kind of looks to me like they tried this fishy business where they pull it down a few ticks and then slam it back up. They were doing that a lot yesterday too, weren't they? Sneaky little bastards. Guatemala, which has been forming caravans and sending large numbers of people, some with criminal records, to the United States, has decided to break the deal they had with us on signing a necessary safe third agreement. We were ready to go. Now we are looking at the ban, tariffs, remittance fees, or all of the above. Oh shit. He went there. Did you just hear that? Donald Trump is talking about banning remittance fees to Guatemala. Well, not banning remittances, but just putting remittance fees on them. Guatemala has not been good. Big U.S. taxpayer dollars going to them was cut off by me 9 months ago. There can be a lot of people on the right that are super happy that he mentions that. Let's go and see if they are onto it yet. Number 2 post. And it ticked down again. I keep seeing these orders that are like way out there. Bids that are way out there. That 17.5 pulled pretty easily, didn't it? You see that? Now the only caveat to all of that is that we're in one of these zippers. Well, guys, this might be a really boring session. I think we're gonna have to come up with something better to entertain ourselves because this is just crazy slow. Also, if this really does come out, probe of the opening range high, and then yeah, I don't know. That's not a good that's not a good indication of better action later in the session, is it? This is yup. Why be so slow? I mean, are we going to do this until GDP next week? Are we going to do this until the FOMC meeting next week? Oh. Take up. So it's still in the zipper. How many has it given us? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's probably going to do the 11. But then it's at the high. Good morning, Nicholas. How's it going? It looks like you guys were a little slow getting in today, but now it looks like we got everyone. Well, we got our normal numbers at least. Shalin says time to add more volatile markets, maybe crude oil or gold. Yeah, but oil has not moved that much at this particular moment, does it? Maybe oil does. I don't keep the oil chart up because you get too much data comes through it. And it ends up being a distraction. Oh, look, they ticked into 19. You can see the bids pushing it up. But how many times have we seen this thing and it goes one tick and then reverses? We shall see. We're going to be, it'll be really funny if later on we're saying, oh, look, there was the retest of the opening range high and we didn't take it. Anyways, I can see that gold is moving up about $12. Crude oil moved 75 cents in the European session? Really? I wonder, so I haven't, the way I got it over here, actually, because I got over here in the charts. By the way, Shalin, that's a new name, so thank you for watching. Welcome. I hope you enjoy it. We got the little bot, so you should be able to see, conversations between YouTube and Twitch, which is cool. Anyways, so here's my charts. I don't look at them that much, but, here I have this one that's like all of the currencies and stuff. So here's gold, euro was down, British pound was down, 6J was down. I think we should keep an eye on gold, though. Okay. Well, the no signal. Let's not call it no signal. Let's call it steadily decreasing activity in a zipper continued. For 2. So far, at least. You also did get a little activity spike there, but when you're looking at 10,000 changes, that's actually not that much, right? Like yesterday, we were seeing it had to be 15,000 before it was like crazy. Also, kind of feels like that most of that was due to the big orders being placed on there, I'm not convinced that there is wide participation in these, which increases the likelihood of a reversal there at 19. It's just, I don't think that I could clearly, if we were trading this today, and I don't think I could make the clear call on if that was an entry or not. Certainly a potential entry. Just staring at it, it's like I can feel my eyes glazing over. I shouldn't be talking about how awful the action is. That's just going to be like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I wonder if anybody's said anything in the Bitcoin channel. Nope. So yesterday, the latest set of court documents from the Bitfinex case came out. Bitfinex pushing back against the Attorney General, claiming that they don't have jurisdiction primarily, which is nonsense. But it wasn't like it was like an incompetent reply or anything like that. And so, yeah, we're going to have to wait a week and see what happens when they actually are in court. But in the meantime, Bitcoin is selling a little bit. And the guys in the futures are starting to go major short again. Entonces. And so. Okay. Well, I think you could maybe read that as a tepid signal, but again, it went into a range anyways. Kind of suggests that we might be able to go higher, but I don't know. I've never been able to really find this kind of a thing. Like it goes a zipper and then a little zipper higher. I've never been able to really find a true edge in this. Like, I think that the tendency is that they tend to continue, but the expectancy on it isn't very good. Just kind of looking around here, see if there's got to be something interesting going on. You would think that with Mr. Boris Johnson getting put in over in the UK, that maybe there would be some fun stuff to talk about with that, but apparently nobody in America cares. Oh, man. Oh, we do have some new people on Patreon. Should point out we got, if you look in the video description below, there's a link to the Patreon, and every day on Patreon I post notes with the data model that I have to value Bitcoin, and it's been a very useful model. Of course, it's kept us out of this latest run. It seems to be suggesting that there's some sort of fraud or manipulation going on, so we shall see. But it's been really, really good through this whole bear market and everything. So if you do Bitcoin, I would highly recommend it. Only $5 a month, and you can go and look at past posts like a week back, so you can see what it was actually saying, see if you believe that it has an edge or if it's worth it to you. And of course, we put that money back into the stream, so we really appreciate all you guys. I don't think that I think the Patreon's enough, but they are a big part of the stream. So, all right. Well, there was a tick down. Nobody's hitting 18. Oh, there you go. Okay. Well, let's put this one in at 19 as that it was a signal. Up. I'm going to say it seems slow. Okay. We're going up and it reversed at 19. Could have possibly gotten 2 from it so far. See, when it does that, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like it ticks up and starts to rage, and the activity increases, it's like everybody's getting excited, but then it reverses on them. I've seen that happen a lot of times. Ooh, what was that? A couple of asks stacked on at 19 and 18. At 17 half not giving way yet. Now I forgot that I was still showing the charts. We should switch back over. I feel like my breathing is really loud today. I don't know what the deal is, but I apologize. Maybe I'm allergic to something, or I don't know. It feels like the nasal passages are like constricted. I'm kind of surprised that you got oil moving in that much in the overnight session and treasuries are not moving. Because the only thing that would bring that would be like, you know, what is the word? You know, foreign policy type stuff. Global uncertainty. There you go. That's the word. Global uncertainty pushing up the price of oil. But it's not causing a rush into treasuries or the dollar. Should bring this back down, make sure that I'm watching the tweets. This could be one of those times where, you know, Donald Trump could say something and whoosh. In 2016, I almost won Minnesota. In 2020, because of American-hating, anti-Semite Representative Omar and the fact that Minnesota is having the best economic year ever, I will win the state. We are going to be a nightmare to the president. She says, no, AOC plus 3 are a nightmare for America. AOC plus the 3? What? Well, he's clearly trying to label AOC as the ringleader. I'm just kind of noticing that as we come back into where we were zippering before, around the 18, there is a little bit more interest this time. There are some days where the overnight session moves more than the US one yesterday, for example. Of course, normally the US one moves more. Totally right. It really frustrates me when, well, I think let me back up. Here's what I think happens is you come in, you have the US session, all of the scalpers want to come in and scalp in the US session. And if you're scalping, it tends to benefit you to be going for mean reversion trades, generally speaking. I mean, it kind of goes through phases, but usually, and especially in the summer, tends to favor the guys that are using the mean reversion trades. And so you get this thing where during the regular session, the price is incredibly difficult to move. It keeps looking like it's going to go somewhere and then it doesn't. And then after all of the day traders disappear after like the London session close, then they can actually move price to where they want to. So it's like if you're scalping, you always miss the party. And I find it really, really frustrating when I wake up and I say, oh, look, there's that move up that I was looking for all day. You go to sleep and then it happens. Very frustrating. He was talking about crude oil. Well, I mean, it happens to all of them, right? It's just really obvious in treasuries because when you get that high liquidity in treasuries, they just do not move. Whereas the E-mini and oil always kind of doing something funny. I guess oil though is more. I shouldn't say more, but let's just say very sensitive to foreign markets, right? That's decreasing now that the US is producing more oil, but okay, so this one is definitely a signal. So we can see that reversal was good for 1, 2, 3. And we're getting another thing here. I think that the day action we have to know. Well, actually, I think it's unsure. And now down. I think this is more likely to be a reversal. 70 half. High interest and iceberg. JP Morgan Treasury client longs most numerous since late May. White House economic advisor Kudlow says chipmakers asked the White House to speed up Huawei exemption application process. Looks, well, you got an uptick, but not follow through yet. They're going to have to stack at 18, and there's some iceberging going on there. Well, if that is a real signal and it does end up reversing higher, that could be really positive for price, couldn't it? So, Shalon, you trade mostly oil or you touch other things? I wouldn't mind, man, if I just had more screen real estate, you know what I mean? If I had 6 screens, then maybe I could have room for oil. I could put all of these Vista charts somewhere else, and I could stick, 4 more DOMs on the screen here. I could have it like, how about we put, how about we put the treasuries up here, and then we put down here, we put NQ and the Dow futures, and what's the other one? Oh, the Russell. Let's do the Russell. And then over here, we could have oil. Or no, it wouldn't be over here. It would be like right here. We could have like oil or something like that. Could be fun. And then I could have the Vista charts, somewhere else. But I don't think I'm ever going to have 6 screens. There's no room. I wouldn't be able to. So here's the thing that I'm starting to discover. Like first world problems, I know. But when you start to get too specialized into a certain thing with your computer, you start to lose flexibility with your setup. So like this machine is, I like to produce with it and I like to trade with it. But I have to put these monitors like way up higher than they should be. And so you don't get the best frequency response from it. But then you want to add more monitors, then you really can't. Then you're really not going to get the speakers, right? So what do? You have to get 2 computers at that point, right? I don't think I have room for 2 computers. Maybe I could put another computer on the other end. Maybe. I don't know. Or I could just stick to 3 monitors and get 3 big ones. Dun, 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 dun. What the heck is Bitfinex retweeting now? You reflect on the symbol of your many achievements, the lion. You are interrupted by a loud knocking at the door. You stand still and pretend you do not live there. And then he has a picture. As detailed in the moving papers, there is no basis for general personal jurisdiction over respondents because they are not at home in New York, and no basis for specific personal jurisdiction because respondents have, since the end of 2017, well before the relevant allegations, prohibited U.S. persons from using their platforms. Yeah, I don't think that is going to help Bitfinex. Because there were U.S. customers are absolutely using their services, and they totally have to know. They totally have to know. IMF cuts global outlook, sees downside risks on trade tensions. See future traders doing his little thing. I'm still kind of chuckling to myself about the things that Donald Trump has tweeted this morning. There is high interest here in this area at 18. Now for 2 bars. Extremely high interest. Let's go put that in Discord. It's a little lonely in Discord without Alligator, I got to admit. U.S. House Price Index month over month for May. Actual spot 1 versus 0.4 previous. Let's see here. Oh, the forecast was 0.3. So the HPI was spot 1 versus a forecasted spot 3. And again, HPI is a change in the purchase price of homes with mortgages backed by Fannie and Freddie Mac. Okay? So housing continues to be... Oh, is that an uptick? Is it? Is it? Maybe? Come on. There you go. Now they have to hit it. Come on, buddy. Listen, I know you're out there. Little retail trader. Got down to 18, said, hey, maybe this is reversing. And so you sold it. You sold into that iceberg at 18. I know you're out there. There's about 3,000 of you. And I'm just saying, maybe you want to get out. Maybe. I'm not dispensing financial advice or anything like that, but I'm just thinking, doesn't seem like a good place to trade, in my view. Maybe you could get out at 18 again. That downtick, that 18 pulled really easily. I can see there's still bids showing up. The bid was more active than the ask at first, and now they're equal. But the ask is still a little bit more active. The 5-year tick up there, it did. That's what happened was the 5-year ticked up to 26 3/4. They're kind of pointed opposite ways here. You see that? There's also some spreading going on. I did not notice that. I should have. That's important. I'm so bored I'm reading news. This isn't good. I don't know, Uzi. I'm starting to think. So this I think could change things. The spread did move. Let's look at it over here. Okay, here's the spread. Okay, so they might try and push this higher end of the spread so they still have room to move. It's not going to be as good in the knob because it's a steepener. Man, CB is like even looks even worse than the 10-year. Just put your order in the 10-year. Just trade, just put in 3 instead of. Or you could just trade the knob itself. I gotta switch it back over. And you can see activity here at 18 continues to be high. And there was that iceberg at 17.5, right? Was it 17.5? Yeah. I put down in my signal that you could have gotten filled at 17.5, so. IMF's slower global growth drop and core inflation have revived the risk of disinflation. The risk of disinflation. That's my favorite kind of inflation. It really is. Oh, there you go. Come on. I'm not hearing any clicks. The big guy, he needs to stack on there and just hit it. Anyways, it's my favorite kind of inflation because then you get low interest rates. And low interest rates is great for trading. Don't you agree? Don't you agree? I'm sure there are many people out there that do not like that. That is their least favorite kind of inflation, but like people that live on fixed income, that would suck. That would really suck. What do you do if you're a retiree and you put everything into fixed income and then you're retiring and the interest rates are practically zero? Ugh. Libya's state oil firm says full production at Shahara field returned at normal level. We're just reading all the tweets. There was a lot of stuff there from the IMF. I really think, I'm not supposed to, but it seems to me like that the probability favors it moving up. I'm not supposed to be seeing that per se because it biases our reading of the indicator, and we're supposed to be trying to read it as unbiased as possible. But it's been pretty clear that usually this sort of a thing reverses. And the slower that it is, the more likely it is to be a reversal. And if they can start ticking into 19, you got a pretty decent number of people trapped. And you could push for a move higher. Another thing, while we're here in the E-mini, I'm kind of thinking, I don't know if I feel confident enough in it to take a live trade, but I'm kind of thinking that if you were so lucky in the E-mini, because given the move up that we've had, pretty good chance that there's going to be some reversion before the open, right? Let's just reset everything. Li Peng, the former Chinese leader who declared martial law before the bloody crackdown on student demonstrators 3 decades ago in Beijing's Tiananmen Square, has died. He was 90. I should learn to read Arabic. I see this on Twitter all the time. I kind of want to be able to read it. Wonder how difficult is Arabic to learn how to read compared to Chinese? Because trying to learn Chinese is like, holy crap, dude. Like, I can remember the words, but then remembering a character for every word is like crazy. It's a fun language, though. I enjoy it. Chinese. I need to really like dive into it so that Rong and I can have conversations. We can talk shit about all you guys and you won't know what we're saying. That would be fun, I think. Of course, if I'm going to learn Arabic, then that probably means I have to trade oil, right? I don't know if I want to trade oil. Oil scares me, guys. Be honest, like total honesty, oil scares the shit out of me. That thing, I started trading with oil, and then I move over to Treasuries. Oh, they're gonna tick down. Are they gonna tick down? Just to spite me, probably. Nobody's hitting 17 either yet. I think that they might. Okay, there they are. Still. Whew. I think there's kind of a thing where it's like, okay, we're in a range, okay, you get a spike like this or this, probability is that we're going to reverse, right? But the more range bound it becomes, the more random the next move is going to be. So at this certain point, even though it's like range bound A tends to favor that it's going to reverse here, but because it's completely slow, you're at the mercy of the next guy. There's almost no way that you can even call what's going to happen. I'm thinking, yeah, probably they should reverse at 17.5. But I would hope that if I was trading it, at least now that we can say in retrospect, I would hope that I wouldn't be touching it. Okay. Well, we're going to have to call that one a continuation. But I'm going to put here in the notes, okay, high interest in iceberg, ranged forever, fell through, seemed kind of random, too slow to trade anyways. But if you'd taken it at 17.5, it would be 1, 2, 3. Now let's take a quick examination here. I'm still seeing bids show up. Very little action on the offer and still bids. That move down didn't seem to be due to pulling. So there's still a chance that it reverses here. Well, these orders right here at 16. Well, you couldn't get filled at 16. Let's see what happens. I think it'd have to be 16.5. Would also be a potential signal. Okay, no, you can't get 16. Okay, 16. A lot of bids. So range bound, range, we're moving down. Click. White House economic advisor Kudlow, U.S. trade officials' trip to China will likely happen. That might have been part of what pushed us down. $16 is the VWAP, by the way. It's also below the open. Okay. Okay, so that's something. They just stacked Stum on the offer at 16.5. That's interesting. So we ticked up. We ticked up at 16. And that went from like 3,700 to 4,200 now. Well, it was more than that. It was a stack of 800 though. So all these bids down here, but offers not pulling out of the way. I'll go lover. There you are. How's it going? We're really bored. We're not too. I need to be more optimistic. Today is the best trading day ever. I am so ready to make so much money, guys. Are you ready to make so much money today? This. I know it looks like really range bound in it, but there's some real opportunity here, and we're going to take advantage of it. Yeah. No, personally, I think that this one right here at 16 is worth playing. Let's not say worth playing because I'm still not sure what the probability and everything is, but there's definitely something happening here. Maybe we get a little bit of a reversal again. And the thing is that 16.5 was the open. So if they get back above it, I'm going to use my big zero today as a hula hoop. Okay. So what was that? Okay. Ask, bid. 15.5 at the bid. Ask at 16.5. They pulled it. And people hit it. And there's an iceberg there at 16.5, but they're hitting it. If you had gotten in at 16, I think that would be really encouraging that they're trying to hit that at 16.5, but it would still be really that they didn't break through. It'd be kind of nerve-wracking, and maybe you're trapped. Well, like on that downtick, now you're definitely trapped. It's kind of starting to feel like that this is doing the opposite of what my first impressions were. Is it already flipping on me, or is it just random? Oh, I didn't catch that the E-mini moved up. This thing over here in the E-mini is going to be very experimental, okay? Because that is like such a strong call ahead of time, but I'm just basing it off of the profile and the theory that there's going to be some mean revision before the open, and I'm only looking for like 8 to 16 ticks. And it is on sim. This is very curious action here. Because it really looked like they were trapped there at 16, but then there's no continuation off of it. Although it still feels like that the sellers are really, really sticking them hard. I also have to wonder, why is it that the offers are so quiet except for when it moves? Okay. So some stop orders there at 15. Iceberging at 15. Half. That might be a buy right there. We haven't gotten a signal since we got that initial one at 16. Buyers need to regain a bit above 3,004 and hold any pullback above 29.82 for continuation higher of 29.82 breaks before trading higher than anticipation. Lowered prices. I kind of think that when I look at the profile here, I kind of see there was this strong down day and then push back up. So it seems like we've established a clear range here. So are they going to push them back down here? You're saying that they need to hold it above 3,004, but if they got it above 3,004, what are the chances that they're able to get like 13 or 15? But then even then that might be all they can get, and then they'd still be within margin of error for the range and could still turn down and move lower. Like, why break this range before the FOMC meeting? Ugh. Stretch. It's just so slow and sleepy action. Uzi says on the downside, I've got 154.15 still. Well, I'm still seeing the bids be really active. Who knows what that means? Because, the bids were really active before and we came, really they've been quite active through almost this whole thing. The only time that the offers really did anything significant was, well, they never did. Well, I guess there was here at the open. Okay, what was that? A bunch of asks. Wow, sorry. Bunch of asks just come through. They sold it down. So let's say from this one, it went, oh, it actually did go 2 in our favor. Did get 2, but then sold hard. Okay, so let's just keep that one in mind. Here, this one is a range, down, continuation, 15 half. Big flood of large orders. And we went 1, 2, 3 so far. Zimmer track 105. No, do you remember me? I honestly, I don't. I think you might be pulling my leg. The vid needs some songs. Well, I could search. I have a video coming out tomorrow, and I was thinking maybe I should put some music on it. But I think I have one of my own tracks that I'm put on. Yeah, nice big block sell at 16, at 18. That flood of large orders that come in was a big deal, wasn't it? They were almost all asks too, but they were like these asks really, really far away. Tons of them really, really far away, and then a couple more close. And now here again, a lot of activity on the ask close. And there's an iceberg at 14.5. So far, this has only been good for 2. You gotta wonder what that was all about, huh? Uzi says a pullback of 5 to 8 ticks, perhaps? Well, I am starting to get some outsized interest here at 14.5. So let's put down in that there was a signal there. I'd still say it's a within range, and it's a range day, and we are moving down. This might be the first time that it gives us like a real reversal. Let's see. I still see the possibility of some down action in the E-mini, but we're coming into the open. So I think if I was trading this live, I don't think I would want to be involved in the open, but Um, let's just say that we wanted 20, just in case. Since it's on sim, we can kind of sit here and see how we handle it on the open, yeah? Kind of got everything set, so I can kind of just be hands off with it, so. Actually surprised at the amount trading on some of these icebergs here on the open. Like the action in the treasuries. I'm surprised that they're able to get that many orders to hit into them. But they're there. Pretty slow open in the E-mini too, although it is down. It's kind of a little bit of up and a little bit of down, but overall the price was down is what won. That would be funny if the ZB didn't make it to that 14 and reversed here. That would probably upset a couple of shorts in ZB, wouldn't it? Okay, well, there's 8. So we will say that we would have gotten 8 if that's where we'd put it. Because I wasn't sure if I wanted to go for 8 or 16. Come on. Sell it. I guess not. Hmm. They're still pushing. Well, so far, keep in mind it's only been. Am I leaning too far back? Is it too hard to hear me? So far, it's only been about 1,000 contracts cumulative delta-wise short, but they did sell. That might have been luck. I don't know. Let's see what the buyers got in them now. I can see that the 30-year is kind of turning itself down again for another leg. Just you can see the delta selling in it. And in the 10-year, not really telling you very much, except for that There is definitely some absorption on the short side. Algo Lover says nice short if they can break 97.25 here, but I don't know. I'm having a hard time pushing it further. There could be a lot more volume out there, though. It's now about 2,000 contracts short. It just, the thing we got to keep in mind is that it's been all, for the past week or so, there's a lot of selling in the e-mining and they're not able to make a lot of progress. We shall see. See how easily those buyers can make it back up. See, they could probably move it anywhere they want. Since buyers did not breach 3,004 yet, the anticipation is lower still. Some offers get put on there. Yeah, 15.5, they stacked some. It's another ask really far out there. EU trade chief says EU has a rebalancing list worth 35 billion euros if US imposes car tariffs. Says US wants to include agriculture in talks, repeats US unwilling to start free trade talks. The US is unwilling to start the talks? There's more in your trade if 97.25 goes offered. Okay, well. I mean, it doesn't really matter, right? The thing that I wanted to see, I'm going to cancel it. The thing that I wanted to see was if I would get the 20, right? Okay. 34. Okay. So it would have been filled. Now I need to go back and look though. Okay. So 95.25 would be spot. And now I'm sitting here like, oh, I need to get live. Nope, that was it right there. It could go lower, but that was too much panic. Here's 15. Oh yeah, they got 15 in ZB. They ain't get 14. A big old order at 14. I can totally see, I don't know. I appreciate it, algo lover, but I gotta kind of have to go based off of what I know. And so when you were saying that, I was kind of thinking, it seems like it's so close right here. They're gonna go through me. But then when I see this candle right here, right? This is almost 4,000 contracts all at once. Like a stop run. When I see that, I want to get out. Okay, so he says 92.25 would be the next level. And if they don't break it, then anticipate back up. Let's see, I think the way, I can trade the E-mini differently from the way that I trade treasuries, but if I trade it the same way that I've been doing treasuries, yeah, no problem. You have to trade your funds, not mine. Yeah, my trade was I wanted to take it at the top end of the profile, and that was it. So then we got a what appears to be a stop run lower, then the trade is over. I would like to swing it. I think that I could potentially swing it all the way back down into well into yesterday's levels, but I shouldn't be. I don't think that I can really play that. I need to add in here on this chart. I don't have the line for the session. Trading hours break line should be like dim gray, and it should be a dotted line there. Now I can see the possibility of going down and touching 29.85, that they might try and make a move there. Now on the other side here, while I am seeing the 6J go down, but this is sell all the things, isn't it? So here again, the reversal at 14.5, and you could have gotten maybe one or two, and then it goes against you. I don't know. But look when you get these quiet spots, like right here and right here. Not a profile trader, but very familiar with the concepts. Yep. I'm just saying, and I'm not really a profile trader either, right? I'm just saying that the point of control from yesterday was 29.86, so there's a pretty good chance that we go there. Uzi says, "Holy shit! Well, they really like fell down through that, didn't they?" I find it interesting right here. That was a continuation, but it seems to me that some of these quiet spots are actually pretty good. Can actually be pretty good trades. That was something that I wanted to pay attention to today. And I can kind of see it's not perfect, but it does give you some good spots. So I think my tendency is to want to get in when the crazy happens. But see if you can get in here. You can get in here and get out. And then, you don't know that one's going to happen. Maybe you hold it quiet, get in again. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Okay, now there's a really big iceberg at 13.5. And notice the activity is way more now that we're down here. Now they're really pushing it. It looks like I totally made the right call in the E-mini too, didn't I? Oh, I'm proud of myself. I don't know, guys. This is a pretty crazy down move with no rhyme or reason to it. The one thing that I can see, though, or that I'm thinking about is there was that huge spoofing of all of those big offers, like really far away. Remember that? Before all this happened, and then it just started to trend. Hmm. That is something that you should totally be able to see on the DOM, but I don't think that you would realize that it was happening without seeing that tape. There's a 10K on the offer at 13. Now there's been a lot of bidding down through here, so I'm not so sure if we could really call this a one, but I'm going to say so this one is going to be a continuation. First of all, it continued. They went, well, where was it? It was at 14.5. So we went 2 against, and it went 1, 2, 3 in favor. No, that's 3, 2. I'm seeing a lot of like, oh, the ones that you could take, you could have taken them long, but you'd only get a few ticks out of them, sort of a thing, right? Okay, so now we got to say that this is a down day, it is a trend day, we were moving down, and we're at 13, let's say. Interesting, though, that the action has been mostly on the bids, and you're not getting the offers much at all. Okay. I say the E-mini sure doesn't seem to like what's going on, does it? Hmm. So the bids showed up at 13. It's still going. The way that we usually read this, though, is that it's kind of like that's maybe putting on the brakes. So I think given the situation, it could maybe move 2 or 3 ticks through and then it could still end up reversing. There's a lot of volume down here, though. I mean, this looks really trendy. And we're only 2 ticks above the previous low. How come this is not scrolling correctly? It's still ask at 12.5. And 471 added. It's definitely not. Okay, so there's an uptick. A little more insistent that time, too. Man, what do I gotta do to, like, just do it like that? Maybe if I clear it. My eyes are kind of like going cross-eyed, like I want to fall asleep. I am not getting the, what is the word? I'm not getting, like, the norepinephrine to keep myself focused here. I mean, he had an okay 2 upticks there. There was some bids pulled, though. So that might mean it come down again, but then that you might ultimately still want to buy it. Let's see. Sellers need to step on the gas or they'll be the fuel. Talking about the E-mini. My thought now, given the way that last one worked out, is hey, we should buy it at $29.95. But the momentum is definitely down, so I don't think that would be a very good idea. Big speech from Bank of England Chief Economist Andy Hardlane in Scunthorpe. Clear case to keep rates steady for now. Very cautious about cutting rates unless there's a sharp downturn. Need to supercharge supply side of the economy and not rely on Bank of England stimulus for growth. That could certainly be something that pushes down Mr. Gecko. What do all these spreadsheets mean? Well, it's basically I put on as many numbers on the screen as I possibly can. And then when you see a number that looks really attractive to you, you buy it. Or, you sell it. You can sell it too. But right now I think you buy it at 12.5. I think. I don't know. We're kind of testing something right now, so. And the thing that we're testing, okay, so there you go. That was a good uptick. And through a big iceberg too. And the bids are starting to really stack up, confirming the move. I think this is the reversal you want. Okay, so which numbers mean what for what? All right. Your name is very similar to another guy that trades like this, and that is a very, very good, by the way. Anyways, so this blue column right here, can you see? Here, let me get my highlighter. This blue column right here, those are bids. Those are people that have resting orders on the exchange to buy. Okay. Here, these are offers. These are resting orders on the exchange to sell at that price. Okay. And the price is listed right here. I should do it with the highlighter. Okay. The treasuries are priced in increments of 1/64th. Well, it's actually 132, and then they split that by half, right? So it goes all the way up to 32. Oops. You can see it goes all the way up to 32, and then it starts over again. So you got 13, 13.5, 14, 14.5. I know that might seem confusing, but it's no big deal, right? Just go 13, 13.5, 14, whatever. No big deal, right? Okay. So that's a tick. That's the minimum amount the price can move. And then these two columns on the inside are market orders hitting those bids and offers, right? So we can see here on this 13, they were able to sell through it, and it erased the number. But at one point, they had to sell 3,000 contracts to get below 13. Is this fiat markets? So these are U.S. Treasuries right here. So this is 5-year, 10-year, 30-year Treasury. I don't know if you can see the different ones, but there's the line. How did I get the tiny one? Right. Okay. 5, 10, 30. Okay, this is E-mini. This is like the micro E-mini, and this is the mini E-mini. So basically, this is the S&P 500. These two right here. Okay. So the gist of what I'm trying to do is I'm watching the actual orders hit the exchange. And, when things happen, I see how the orders react to it. And I try and use that to make short-term calls about where it's going to go. So the thing that I'm looking at right now is we had to move down. We've had bids coming on the whole way, but then we definitely got some increased bids right here. And that tends to be something that hits the brakes. So they went through it for 2 ticks, and now they are reversing. It looks like that signal was good. Now we're coming into the news, so they're pulling. That's why you're hearing all those clicky noises. Let's go to Twitter. Richmond Fed Manufacturing Index for July, -12 versus 5 estimate. That's not good. Wait, was that the number that we were looking for? I thought we were getting new home sales. Or rather, existing home sales. Okay, well, the existing home sales was 5.27 million versus an expected 5.35, so it was worse than expected. So I wouldn't say that the trade at 13 was good, but it was interrupted by the news. So I'm not too sure if we can really make too big of a conclusion from that. Okay, so we're going to say that one, it was at 13, so it 1, 2, possibly 3 ticks against you. But you could have gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6. I think we're going to have to put in 5, though. Yes, 5. Okay, so now the day, this is getting to be quite a messy day. So now we have to put down that this next one is in range. We're going to say it's a range bound day, but it's still kind of trendy, and we were moving up. And we got a big signal right here at, let's say, 15. So this one is likely to be a reversal as well. Looks like the E-mini did start moving down again. I don't know, this guy that wants to sell really wants to sell it. What do you think the deal is? We'll put stuff in Discord, even though there's not really many people talking in Discord right now. Okay, now you're getting a high level of activity again. E-mini did sell off of that news, but not too strong, did it? Like, they could still turn this around. Like, yay, new home sales is really poor. That means that we're going to have to keep interest rates low forever. Buy all the things. Except for that somebody does want to sell the 10-year here. I don't know what his deal is, but he's there and he's doing it. Maybe it's part of a spread. Mr. Have to. They pretty much, I mean, the thing is, it's kind of been interesting to watch the Federal Reserve here because people have been saying that the Federal Reserve is captive to the markets for a long time. But this is the first time that I've seen the Federal Reserve Committee, openly start to question it, to actually say, hey, maybe actually this is a problem. and they are kind of feeling like, you have this expectation, and then if the market doesn't get it, they throw a fit and they just sell. And then you're forced to ease and keep the money easy. And it's kind of seems to me to be a self-perpetuating cycle. Like, you guys remember back during the, maybe some of you guys weren't around, but back during the quantitative easing days, I remember that before they implemented quantitative easing, there was a lot of people that were very bearish about it. Because one, they said that means that the economy is really, really bad and is going to remain really, really bad for a very, very long time. But then he also said, look at what's happened in Japan when they started to go down this path with monetary easing and low or even negative interest rates. They have never gotten out of it. And I think what we're seeing is that, hey, if you give people money, they're going to go out and invest it and use it. And so that is good, and it has a stimulative effect on the economy. But the downside of it is that people end up taking on a lot of debt in that time period as well. And so then if you try and increase the interest rates, they all get screwed as the interest rates go up. And so you can't raise them on them anymore. You have to wait basically for them to make all of their money and pay it all off before you can start raising interest rates again. But then the rates are low, and so they continue to take on debt. And so then it just kind of turns into you can never get out of it. You know what I mean? So I'm wondering if that's what's starting to happen. Too long didn't read people are bad with money, yeah. Well, and it's not even that people are bad with money. It's like, it's a company, Like, that's the thing that's so... I think that this is something that's really interesting, is if you go in and you look at an individual person, like let's talk about me, right? If I'm in a trade, seems like that when things get really exciting, I really want to trade, and I can end up making poor decisions during those times. And that is kind of like a natural thing that people tend to do, right? The market is really good at getting you all excited into buying the exact spot that you shouldn't be. Okay. But when you look at companies are not necessarily subject to the individual emotions and whims of an individual person. And yet they still end up being, making just as big of a mistake and still making decisions based off of emotion or whatever, So it's like, but I think that it's kind of more that the incentive is just tilted a certain way. Like the way that this is set up, and it is the intention of the Federal Reserve, is that they want people to go out and borrow money and try and build businesses with it. Like that's the system. It seems to me like that it turning into a never-ending cycle is kind of a unintended consequence of that. And because the greed, derives that, it's hard to get out of. Well, I mean, we've never really been in this situation, so I guess I can't really say what's going to happen in the end, but for the time being, it seems like that they just can't raise interest rates. They're subject to the whims and emotions of the body of shareholders. Well, that's a different issue, Gecko, because they should be. But the honest truth is that in modern day companies, shareholders do not have a whole lot of power because people just trust what the board tells them. So it's very rare. It's very rare that you go into a shareholder meeting and you see that the board loses a vote. It's very rare. And the only time that you ever see it is like when activist investors are involved. Okay, so we need to go and update our tracking here. So at 15, it was moving up and we said it would be a reversal. It was 1, 2, 3. And then at 13, did we get a whole lot? No. So we're going to say that it was worth 3. It did go one tick beyond us. Oh, gotta go. Well, thank you for joining. I'm here every morning. It's during the same time. So, come join us. And it was nice meeting you, buddy. Algo says it just broke. We're going to move higher again in the treasuries. It seems like that the buying is being driven by ES being unhappy. But what caused the sell? I don't quite understand. Bids are pulling here. Why am I not seeing more? Because they were mostly negatives. Bids pulling. No, why did I just say bids pulling? There we go. So it's happening at, did it already come back up? No, it happened here. 14.5. Well, that one didn't really give you a clear exit signal. I think that you buy this one. Where were they pulling it at? 12, 13.5, 14.5. I think you buy 14.5. Given that they pulled and it wasn't able to go down, make any down movement, and the E-mini continues to get creamed, I think you buy it. ZB will trade back to 17 here after the 13 break. Well, I do kind of see some order fishiness there. I don't want to say fishy-like, but I can see some aberrations there. Bitcoin continues to get creamed today, by the way. Okay, some stuff happening at 15. Did I get all this correct? 13.5. This was the big one. That was the 5. And then it pulled back. We're going to say I missed one. 15 was the first one. This I need to delete. This was range. The overall is oh, we were moving down. It's a reversal at 13.5. And it went 1, 2, 3. So once again, you get 3 and 1. Big activity spike. And then here again, I'm just saying we're range. Oh. 15. I'm actually not even sure if that's actually a signal, but we'll go with it. Oh, you know what I missed? It was on this move up right here. Did you see the bids pulling? We need to break above 154.21 for any continuation. And I'm wondering if they're just going to settle somewhere, though. Like 15, it feels to me like before the news, somebody was really selling it. I don't know why they were really selling it, but somebody really wanted to sell it. Then after the news, of course, the news was bad, and so people bought it back up. But ever since, really, I'd say 13, I kind of got the feeling that there was some fighting. So if we come back here to 15, it may just be that the buyer and the seller agree at that point. And there might not be a whole lot more opportunity. Could be totally wrong, but that's kind of how I'm seeing it at the moment. Like, I think we coming back up here at this 15, you would take your long off and be flat. This right here was the news, wasn't it? No, it was after the news. It's kind of weird. It might not have put the candle in the right spot. Because the pulling should be right where the news happened. But I guess that's when the tick closed. That must have been before the news. I don't know. When I started with this one, when we started with this, I was saying, well, wow. First of all, there's clearly a ton of stuff going on underneath of the covers here that I was not noticing before. But then it also seemed like, whew, like every time it just turns on the dime. And now the more that we've been going into it, the more fuzzy it seems. You can make calls on it, but it's hard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think you short this one. It's close at least. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we need to go down. 10, 11. Have you ever been a chat room member outside of your own, of course? Well, so one of the things that I started was, John from GPI Trading that comes in every once in a while. That's how I met him. Was he ran a room, and he did a free trial, and he let me stay in his room for a while, and I would program things for him, and I still do stuff for him. But then eventually we started the stream. If you actually go back and look at some of the original streams, you can hear me talking to him, and that was when we were still in the GPI room. But let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Come on. There still seems pretty range bound here. Anyways, I really I learned a lot of good stuff from John. But my recommendation is I would never pay for a room. It seems to me that the vast majority of trading rooms out there are just basically just charlatans trying to get people to give them money for nothing. You know? It's kind of like, everybody can see it that let's just look at what we've got going on here, right? I'm pretty open and honest about that I have periods of good times and I have periods of bad times. Well, it didn't never quite gave me I got into that, but it never quite gave me the signal. It was supposed to downtick there, and that's why I took it. So I think I played that poorly. And we can kind of hold it for a second, but it looks like that one did not work out. But I'm still glad I did it. Anyways, I was just saying, I've been pretty open about I have good periods and bad periods, and we go through and look at the stats every once in a while, and it's kind of like a work in progress sort of thing. And so I think a lot of the people that have come into this room, a lot of them have come in not because they're looking for some edge and they're looking to learn something. Although I think if you're a new trader, you can certainly benefit from that. But most of these guys, like Uzi is a good example. Uzi is a great trader, right? He doesn't need to hear anything from me to to know what to do, right? But we enjoy the camaraderie, and he helps. He's helping teach me, right? And so that's where I think that this room has kind of been different in how we've been able to attract a lot of really good traders, whereas most other rooms, are basically a bunch of noobs that have no clue what's going on, led by some guy that's clueless and just taking their money. I'm here because I got nobody else to talk to. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's the thing that irks me is that it seems to me like most people go to rooms because they aren't doing well and they think that they're going to learn something in the room that gets them over the top. And it just doesn't work that way. You have to find the edge on your own. Because the market is constantly seeking inefficiencies. And if it finds a true inefficiency, the market is going to take that out. So basically, if you're like the one guy and you found something that works really, really well, you're going to start making money on it, and you're going to size up, and you're going to size up until basically you've completely eliminated that that edge, essentially. That's why you kind of run into this thing where they'll size up, size up, size up, and then it stops working, right? So if you had something that really worked that well and you made it into a room, then at that point, the edge is going to disappear. Now, there are some edges that are not quite like that. And I think that those are kind of more of the things that we're looking at. Like when you look at market profile or the really short-term scalping things, those are just things that like kind of have to happen. But the market already knows about it. And you can still make money on it, but it's hard, right? I posted in several venues to assist where I can. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people like that. I appreciate it. And that's the end of that. Anyways, so yeah, you know, it's the whole thing is you've got to do your own stats, because even if there was something that still had edge in it, it's not necessarily going to be well suited to your personality, you know? So I think that you should use a chat room for wait, IQ says I got spammed my Discord and ended up here. So you're saying that somebody gave you a link to our Discord? Because I've never put links out. I think he probably came in from the futures trading subreddit sidebar, is where we got a lot of people. But man, since the summer though, the Discord has just gotten really quiet, hasn't it? And I'm wondering. Oh, by the way, here, can you see again? Low spot in trading ended up being a good one, but how would we know that it was going to go higher? The recovery in ZB is pretty decent. Well, it kind of makes you question the whole case for what the original sell was, doesn't it? Well, now that we're here at 17, where that like initial break was, you've basically gone through the single prints. You could stop here. Let's see. If we take that up, big spike in it. No. What was I saying that was 15 was a signal? I don't really see anything in there. So I think you could still say that you were in from 13.5, let's just say. Even though I took it short, but I screwed up. It only has edge when it's 11 ticks, and it was about to tick down. And so I took it, and then it didn't actually tick down. So I bungled that one bad. We're going to do the VWAP test in the NZB. Well, interestingly enough, the knob spread is still relatively high. It's looking like maybe it's going to turn back down again, but... Okay, so now I am definitely getting a signal at 16.5. It's pretty slow, so I wonder if you would be able to take 16.5, or is it going to touch 17? Anyways, I'll go as Lover was saying, gotta disagree with that point. Was he saying trading life is a lonely life unless we work for big companies? Well, I think that just the whole thing is that the kind of, we were talking about this in the psychology room in Discord, but there was this video where these guys, they surveyed a bunch of traders and they had them do the like Briggs-Myers personality tests. And they found that successful traders were far more likely to be certain types of Briggs-Myers personalities. And the personalities in particular tended to be people that were introverted, very intellectual, analytical, and very plan oriented. And these all make sense, right? It would make sense that these are all things that would make a trader successful. I think we all know that. And like when you hear it, it seems like, oh wait, this might be a secret, but then you get into it and it's like, oh well, no duh, right? You have to be able to follow a plan. It's a pretty cut and dry thing. We all know that, right? But the thing about that it being introverted people, I think, is interesting because really, when you think about it, you have to usually you have to find your own edge. Even if you're basing it off of somebody else's, you still got to find your own thing, right? And so being successful at trader requires a high degree of internal drive. If you require other people to keep you interested in something, you're just not going to make it. And I think that is one of the things that we really see a lot is you'll see somebody come in and maybe they have the things to make it as a trader, but because they don't have that internal drive, they don't stick around when they hit the bad times. Whereas some of these more introverted guys, you'll have a setback and they'll just go right back into it. So, that kind of is where the thing where it's like the people that are gonna like more likely to be good traders are actually like less likely to want to come into a room. Makes sense. I'm fairly introverted. I don't have a social life, so no one distracts me at work because no one gives a crap about me. See, I think I go back and forth. I think that I am naturally introverted, but that I've put a lot of effort in my life to try and not be. Because being on stream is not something that somebody that is introverted would tend to do, right? But I get something from talking to people that makes it a lot easier, Like it just having somebody to talk to keeps the chemicals going, keeps me from falling asleep, right? Okay, so now you're getting really low activity levels here at 16.5. I don't have to worry about my knowledge base being polluted because no one I know is willing to listen to me talk 10 seconds about trading. So do you think, Uzi, by the way, I'm wondering, because we've been talking about this all week, we're back to the opening range low, 17. Do you think that that's a potential short, or do you think now that we've had that big move down and back up that you don't want to touch it? It seems like this is a spot with some resistance, but I'm also seeing that the activity has just gotten really low. I don't know if that means that we reverse. Seems like every time so far today, let's go back and look. So what would be periods of low activity? Okay, maybe here would be a low activity. That was a reversal. Here, low activity, I guess that was really more of a continuation. And continuation probably in through here. This one I think counts for sure as a continuation. I don't trade ZN, but I turn to the flow need market sells and heavier on the offer to back it up. But you would be looking there, right? I mean, so right away I can see there's an iceberg at 16.5 on the bid. Where is ZV going to stop swing 16 ticks? If it could reverse down and move another 8 ticks down in ZV, that would be great trading, wouldn't it? But I have a hard time here. There's definitely a possibility that somebody's going to get trapped here. Okay, so they got through him. There you go. And let's see here. The ask stacked. Bid moved down to. Well, that's weird that they're putting them down at 14. They kind of take it, but they're still trying to. Now it's just going to go balanced. So if it ticks down again and I see another offer put down, and then I think maybe it would be worth selling it, but or maybe it'd be worth putting like a market sell into 16. Would maybe be another way to play it. I don't know. Doesn't seem like that I have any kind of edge from this particular thing though, other than that it really slowed down there. Ugh. My stomach. Food entering my stomach. I'm interested to see how this one goes, but I think well, we're waiting. I probably better go and post this. Oops. They stacked bids like crazy on 21 too. 21 sure is holding. It looks like they're going to trade 17 half years in a second in the 10-year. Five years trying to coax them into it. Okay. It's interesting that we ended up talking about trading rooms because there was a thread about that on the trading subreddit too, and I left a comment on there about that, saying pretty similar stuff. That the only guy that I know of out there that is like streaming, well, not streaming, but posts stuff, let's say, and has a well-known track record of success as Futures Trader 71, right? In hindsight, the recovery was inevitable. Point of control didn't budge through that whole sell-off, didn't have the volume to continue, but knowing exactly when it's going to stop is impossible. Well, not just that, Uzi, but really, if you think about it, down here, okay, 751, it did give us a reversal here. It went down through 2 ticks, and then it did reverse, right? But then it only did that just before the news. So even if you had taken that one and you had gotten 12, you probably would have gone out before the news, right? And then what if the news had come out and had been bad? Then surely they would have pushed lower and formed a new point of control down there, right? So that's where I'm kind of like, the thing that I don't understand is this whole thing. What's with this? Okay, tons of buying, and then tons of selling. Much stronger selling for why? You know, just seems like it's random to me. You know. Why don't you give me that indicator so I can trade it live on ZB? Well, I don't even know if you would make money if you trade it live and on ZB. I mean, that's the other thing, is I'm only looking at it from the 10-year, but what happens if we stick it on the other two? I mean, we look at all 3 of them together. Hopefully they should probably tell us the same information, right? But when I'm looking at it here, of course, this only tells us what the correct trade was, right? Here at 16.5, we still don't know what the result is, but out of 64 trades, let's just say, and of course, there's a couple of different ways that they could be happening, and I put descriptions here, but if we just look at it overall, how many times is it a reversal or a range? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. 39 out of 64. So that's like 55%, right? It's actually 60%. I'll let you know if you can. So it seems like, wait, hold on. What did you answer this? Are you familiar with Renaissance Tech? I've certainly not checked into them. Maybe the name sounds kind of familiar. You do say Mr. Top Step / Danny has a live room. Yeah, you know what I've always found really weird about their live room is they don't actually have that many people usually watching their live stream, which I was quite shocked. I would have thought that you would have gotten at least like a good 50 people watching every day, and it's not. It's actually pretty similar to our stream. Yeah. Top Step always has, Futures Trader always has a ton of people, of course. We know that Futures Trader, the thing that's interesting about Futures Trader 71 is we know that he has had success in the market, but you don't know, like, over the past month has he had success? You know, he doesn't show you that, and so it could be completely possible that the way that he trades doesn't work anymore, and he's making all the money off of his brokerage business now. You know what I mean? It kind of looks like that you might be getting this again, where okay, you had a good move up. You got into here. I don't know. That was increased bids, but I don't know if that was enough to consider it a signal. But it might just be that it's going to continue through for 2 ticks. They used to have several hundred in Mr. Top Step, but things changed, really. Well, I only remember when they very first started this stream. Probably they're going to be a lot less popular now that micros are around, huh? Because who's gonna put $150 into a combine when they can put it into an account and trade live micros, right? Especially since the majority of people over there are trading micros or trading equities, rather. Yeah. I got all these in here, didn't I? Yeah. Now there's a lot of now when I search on YouTube, there's a lot of people out there that have channels about trading. The thing that I find interesting about these guys is that okay, so we did go higher. The thing that I find interesting about most of the other channels that I've seen is that they don't do anything live. They post they'll post a video every day, and it always looks like, oh, not Top Step, Mr. Top Step. But isn't that Danny? You say Danny, isn't that the same? Maybe not. Oh, I'll have to look at it again. Anyways, but usually what these guys will do is they'll post like their one good trade for the day, and they make it like really short. So like I saw this one guy, and he was going through and he was explaining what was happening, and it was like he was talking about it in retrospect. So it was almost like he was playing it on replay or something like that. And it was like a really short thing too. It was not a, oh, hey, Riven, welcome back. How's it going? Gotta actually close up here in like 5 minutes, but anyways, is your profit and loss similar? Like, so that P&L that I have up there in the upper left-hand corner is just nonsense right now. You know, I added it in there because I thought, hey, maybe if we have a number on there, people will be more likely to visit the stream. And I'm supposed to update it because I have to update it by hand. Where did I even put the, I don't even remember. Oh, here it is. Here's the document. See, so I can change it. I can say it's 0. There you go. And then that'll change it, right? But for now, it's just nonsense to see if it attracts people in. But I'm totally willing to show you guys what I'm doing, although I haven't placed really any trades the past 2 weeks, so. Danny is Mr. Top Step and Combine is Top Step sort of rivals. Okay. But are they both involved with Top Step Trader? That's kind of the thing that I'm confused on. Riven says that he's long at 15. Hey, you know, I think you got a pretty good continuation there and all that. I really hate those ranges. He's also long MES at 94. I'm not too sure about the E-mini one. I'm actually not too sure about the Treasury one either. Like, just when I've been watching this, it feels to me like that the short-term signals are not really telling you a lot about the market today. Put the comma behind the 2. Anyways, I find it interesting. I think the thing is if I was like winning every day and I went out and I was like, okay, like I made $1,000 a day and $1,000 the next day, probably would get a lot of people in here, right? But then I think it would kind of destroy the tone of the community, right? Then all of a sudden, the guys that really stand out right now and really know what they're talking about would probably get washed out by clueless morons that are just there to try and make a quick buck and don't really know what they're doing. So, and that's why I've kind of wondered from time to time that it's like, well, maybe there's a reason to not do it this way. Maybe you shouldn't show people exactly where you got in and why. I don't know. I mean, I've certainly had periods of success while doing that, and I've certainly had periods of not success while doing that. That's okay. We can laugh at them. Like the thing that's weirding me out about this one is that okay, they're really getting a big spike here now at 18. I might not be able to wait to see this one through. Anyways, the thing that's weirding me out about this one was that the first time that we was looking at it, it seemed like clockwork. It did the thing every time, and now it seems like it's almost like somebody's watching it and watching the stream and going, oh well, if we think that it's going to do this, we're going to go in and make sure that it doesn't do that. But I suspect that what's really going on here is there actually are some big players. Somebody really wanted to sell it and somebody really wants to buy it. And so you get the short-term turns, but overall, you're not, it's not going to be too helpful for you. By the way, I think I missed a couple of days posting this picture. I might be able to go back into this streams and get pictures of it, but because I want to see. Here, let's just come back into this one. Yeah, I have the 19th, but I didn't get yesterday. So I've missed a couple of days. Let's pull this one over and let's look at something really quick. Okay, so there was today. Here was the other day. Okay, low activity continuation, low activity kind of a continuation, low activity reversal. Here, kind of a continuation. Seems like it doesn't necessarily tell you very much. That one right there. That one was actually technically really a reversal. Possibly a reversal. Do you have a template? I just made it myself. I don't even know if this is like really the best way to do it. But here's what I did. Was I said, no, we need to zoom out. Why is that so effing big? Why? It didn't look like that over here. Maybe 50%? Sure. Okay. So if you look at the top thing, so I'm trying to say what type of a day is it? And, I'll change when I change my view on it, whether we're in a range bound or a trend day. And then that particular action, is it up or down? And then what the result was. Was it a reversal or a continuation? And then I keep track of, if you took the trade the correct way, what would you make on it? Now notice, the vast majority of these are like 2 or 3 ticks. So it seems like, and it is 60% that you get it. So it seems like there could be some edge in it if you are able to pick your trades correctly. We're in summer action, so, it's kind of questionable, the stats that we're collecting anyways, because it could totally change after Labor Day or whatever it is, Memorial Day. I forget what it is. In August, when school starts and all that stuff, and the liquidity comes back to the markets. Things might change. I don't know. I'm making the desk shake. But that's how I tracked it. And the whole idea was to track it for 2 weeks, take as good of notes as I can, and I can't guarantee these are the best notes or like, the best statistics or anything like that, but it was just to really look at it and try and make sure that we really understand it, to see if it's worth incorporating into our trading. It seems to me that it is. It seems to me that we could totally, I think that people would totally like to have the indicator. I don't know what to do about it. Uzi was like, "Oh, give it to me. I'll trade it." I'm like, I don't know if I want to give it away yet. maybe for $1 million. Definitely for $1 million. It's certainly not worth $1 million. But I don't know. There's a couple of other, once we're done with this 2-week thing though, there's a couple of other things that I want to program. For instance, can you get a Vista chart that would show the level 2 changes instead of what the total amount of level 2 was there at that spot? Would that show us anything interesting? Would that show us that, oh, hey, I know that this price is like really far out, but it's actually changing a lot. Maybe this 15, for instance. Are people have 15 as a target? And that sort of a thing? Maybe. That would be a really strange way of looking at the market. I have no clue what it would look like. I don't think anybody does, because I don't think anybody's ever done it. But it kind of opens up a whole new world of, okay, is there anything that we can really truly find through analyzing the resting orders in this way? Algo Brothers gotta go. I gotta go too. It is almost my time. So thank you guys. We will see you guys tomorrow. Wednesday. Something happened Wednesday. I feel like something happens Wednesday. I don't know. Anyways, I will catch you guys tomorrow. If you haven't checked out the Patreon, go and check out the Patreon. I really appreciate it. I always thank the Patreon guys because you guys are wonderful. And everybody else, hey, if you liked the stream, give it a like. That helps too. So I will catch you guys tomorrow. And in the meantime, stay profitable, friends.